may the fourth be with you is some corporate thing that, I mean, it always starts as like a fan thing. Oh, that's kind of funny. It's wordplay, like Revenge of the Fifth or Revenge of the Sixth, as some people say. But a lot of things that came from fandom were organic. And the real Star Wars Day is May 25th, which is the day that the original Star Wars film opened. But I've got a lot of stories here related to Star Wars. So let's get into it. Let's start with this video put out by Starfleet Dreams. You all need to see this. If you haven't seen this yet, you gotta see this. Let me share it with you. And this really kind of explains where we are with Star Wars Day. Let me move everyone to the side here. There we go. All right. Check this out, folks. You're going to love it. I'll play some of this, not all of it.
Somehow Palpatine returned. Oopsie. Hello there.
All right. I'm gonna let this play while we talk about what are your thoughts. Here we are. We're nearly at the, what is this? This is the 49th anniversary of Star Wars coming up on May 25th. But what do we think about all of this, and where does Star Wars stand today? What are you guys' thoughts?
Well, I got to tell you this, Chris. It kind of breaks my heart a little bit because, you know, like I said, I grew up watching the sequel trilogy in theaters, which is sad. But, you know, of course, I watched the originals and the prequels. The prequels were really big. A lot of people in my age range, all my buddies, we all loved the prequels. And I think it's sort of like that charm of watching it when you're young, you know, and you don't exactly see the kinks. But, you know, I work with kids, and I talk about this often on this channel and my own. And none of them draw Star Wars. They don't care about Star Wars. I work with them regularly, and no, there hasn't been a single word about the Mandalorian and Grogu movie. So I don't know. I really don't see. I don't see how they could come back from this. I really don't. I think they've really lost their ability to attract a younger audience, and all this TikTok crap and them trying to make it, you know, based for people with low attention spans. That's just not doing it. It's weird. It's like, you know, how Star Trek isn't really able to convert into younger audiences. I thought that was more clear early on, but I'm really surprised by how far off Star Wars has also become with the next generation, because Star Trek, I don't think it really ran over into my generation very well, Gen Z, but I really thought Star Wars would lead into like Gen Alpha. I'm not seeing that at all. Very strange, but, you know, reasonable.
Okay, what do you guys think? Want to get everyone's thoughts.
You muted, Dante?
No.
I'm really liking what we're seeing on the screen right now.
Yeah.
This
So,
is
the question is, can it be
the
saved?
future of all franchises. They'll all merge into one, you know, AI slop thing.
So it's the question, can it be saved?
Yeah, but even if it was good, people would still shit on it. Because
Yeah,
man, I see
it's
people
just-
when they do the tweets of, you guys are miserable. Some of you motherfuckers are miserable, because even when they do like good stuff or try to go in the right direction, people hate it. So no, probably not. But the original stuff is always still there for people to like, all the video games and stuff like that. Yeah,
I mean, when you
Maul is
ask
really good.
when you ask can it be saved, it really comes down to the leadership at Lucasfilm and at Disney.
Well, it's also about consistency, right? Putting out one good thing amongst a pile of shit isn't going to save the franchise.
No, but it's a leader who will guide you out of that.
Sure, but
it's a
you need
leader. No,
consistency.
it's a
You need-
leader
you need-
who's
you
it's a
need
leader
hit
who
after
can
hit after hit for it to get back to what it was. Alan, they have done so much damage. They
Right.
have to have a trail of hits. It can't
Right.
just be one good thing out of like, you know, the pig slop that we've gotten, man. Like, look, I like the Maul series, and I'm surprised more people didn't watch it. But I also understand why they didn't watch it, because
It's not
You know, is it worth their time at this point, man? And we got to remember this kind of franchise, Star Wars, even Marvel, DC, and this might be even controversial to say this, man. I think that these franchises are going to die with us. I don't think the youngins. I don't think the youngins care about this stuff anymore, man. They care about anime. They care about Naruto, right? They care about Demon Slayer. They don't care about this kind of stuff anymore the way we do. The people who go to support this stuff is us, not kids. So I don't know if Star Wars has a chance to be saved.
Okay, well, back to my point as to whether it can be saved or not. It does take leadership. The first thing is a recognition of where they've gone wrong, or that things are in the wrong direction. And the second is a leader that says, okay, now that we're in a bad direction, how do we go point ourselves into the right direction? And honestly, it'll be Starfighter that says whether it's worth going forward with it. And then it'll be the leadership to say whether they can take that ball and carry it with them. And look, I think we all agree that the likelihood of that happening is very low.
Sure.
Right. And what if Starfighter is like the best movie of the year, right? Mm-hmm. The problem is we're getting Grogu and Mando this week or this year. So we're gonna have to go from shit to a potentially decent movie. Yeah. People are gonna watch this movie and say, why should I go watch Starfighter?
Well, I think Mando's not gonna move the needle at all.
Well,
even if it's great,
it's not gonna make any money.
Yeah, well, welcome to Disney.
Starfighter will depend on how it ends.
Mm-hmm.
If it ends up at Rey's Jedi Academy, I guess they're going to double down. If it
wasn't Mando
something else?
Isn't Mando before the sequels?
Yeah, I meant Starfighter. It'll depend on how it ends.
Okay, got it.
But
right.
what are the odds that Starfighter is going to end with some kind of connection to Rey?
Oof,
100%
high.
Gosh,
high.
What a turnoff.
Pretty high, unless
I think you're both right. I think leadership is important, right? Leadership is important, but I think that the leadership needs to understand that they've lost their fan base, and it's going to take, like Dante said, hit after hit, good show, good writing after good writing, in order to win that fan base back. So they have to win back the goodwill of the fans, and I think leadership needs to understand that it's not going to happen overnight. They've already spent years damaging the brand, damaging the franchise, ruining characters. And so it's going to take a while to win back that fan base. So I think both things can be true. As of right now, I think that the Star Wars brand is 100% tarnished. I mean, I don't see a lot of enthusiasm like I used to for May the 4th. And it's sad. It's really sad that there's no enthusiasm for it. It's basically like, oh, it's May the 4th. What's Star Wars going to shill now? But Star Wars, like May the 4th, in my mind, it's always been a corporate thing in order to make money off of Star Wars. So that's not really a surprise to me, but the enthusiasm is down. Like there's no excitement for May the 4th, or to go and collect all of the stuff from all of these companies that are putting out things for Star Wars. There's really nothing like that anymore, because people are just over Star Wars. They don't really care about it anymore, which is sad, because I love Star Wars so much. Or at least
I agree with you. I agree with you, Steph. I went to Star Wars Celebration for the first time in 2019, I think, or 2018. And it was one of those 2 years. And I loved it. Even after Last Jedi, I still loved Celebration. I felt like there was hope. I felt like there was possibly, light at the end of the tunnel. And then of course it was, terrible with Rise of Skywalker. And now, they just announced the next Celebration coming out. And there's a part of me deep down from if I just go back to how I was when I was young, just, respecting and loving the world of Star Wars and the wonder and the inspiration that it blessed upon me and upon us all. We all really want that again. And we just haven't had it in so long. And, I think Star Wars, just the world of Star Wars and the universe, the politics, the heroic journey and the stories of so many different characters, it inspires all of us. Right. And I think that has been so void for so long. And I really wish they could just capture that. And I think with Mandalorian, they had a little bit of that in the first season. And the second season, they started to overindulge themselves. Then the third season, they completely lost that. But I thought there was hope once again with Mando. That's definitely not clear. That's why I'm definitely curious to see if maybe they're going to correct some things with the Mando movie. Maybe they heard the criticism with Mando season 3, probably not. But I'm with everybody. I think we all want to love Star Wars, right? We want good faith and to be happy today because it is a day that, you know, we reflect on Star Wars and think about it, but it's just not there. And it's just a depressing thought because there's really not many other titles like that are kind of still relevant today.
It's so funny, box office brawler, that it's a day we reflect on Star Wars, like Christmas, a day we reflect on the birth of Christ.
Yeah.
But where are you at on Star Wars? And I kind of feel like there's a conversation that involves Star Trek in this.
Well, we were just talking about this. Like I've really been enjoying Maul, Shadow Lord. You know,
Yeah, I've heard it's good. It's good.
I think it's pretty good. I think the problem with Star Wars is they've forgotten that before Star Wars was Star Wars, it was the story of people. You know, and if you think about what Star Wars was about, us, we were the protagonists. All of us were Luke Skywalker. You know, we were all people that wondered what would we be when we grew up and where would we go, and you know, we wanted to have something happen, and we looked at the twin setting suns of Tatooine or our own setting sun, wondering, is this it? Am I ever going to have anything more happen to me? And at its core, Star Wars was a story that fundamentally every single human being could understand. Not just because of the Joseph Campbell of it all or the Kurosawa of it all, but because of the Luke Skywalker of it all. And I feel that Star Wars has lost that entirely. And, you know, if you think about it, everything else, the Jedi, all that was on the periphery in the original Star Wars. You know, and Luke kind of led us into that. But, you know, it was a story about these two schmucks and that fell into this along with a veteran of foreign wars and one of the schmucks' sidekick dogs, you know, and they went on this ramshackle adventure, and it had a charm and it had an old school sensibility, and yet it opened up this incredible fantasy world to the audience that we'd never seen before. And the problem with Star Wars now is we've seen everything before, and it's no longer about the everyman. It's only about the Jedi, and it's only about the Sith Lords, and it's only about, you know, all these rarefied people, and it's forgotten that the roots of it all was there was a proxy character for the entire audience to identify with.
You got Andor, dude. Everyone likes the Force and lightsabers. That's what makes Star Wars special. Otherwise, it's just another space.
But that's
fantasy.
no. That's not what how Star Wars was made special initially.
Sure, it was.
That's what
it was the Force and lightsabers. Luke, your father's lightsaber.
No, the story was about one young man's comeuppance into adulthood. All of that extra stuff is all detail. And I think that the problem with Star Wars, even Andor, was about special people. You know, it was about, and I think what's it's going to be interesting to see where Star Wars goes from here. But I really do think they need to make a Star Wars story about an everyman character who is not a Jedi, who is not part of the government, the New Republic. And go back to the roots of what made Star Wars a success when it first came out.
Yeah, is Starfighter going to be that movie though?
No, because you've got somebody he's a starfighter. He's Maverick.
You want a fucking farmer?
I'm not saying I want a fucking farmer. I'm saying that I want a person who is not extraordinary, who is tapped to go on an extraordinary journey.
Oh,
and that journey makes them extraordinary.